Hey YouTube, this is the Art of Prepping. Just breaking out the Foxelli MX10 USB rechargeable headlamp. Just taking a quick walk around the property, just checking some things out. My neighbors are going up and down the road on their ATVs, and it's getting kind of old, but sometimes when you live in a rural area, you get a little bit, or have different problems than you would when you're in the city, but for the most part, it's way better than city life. I just wanted to break out some different ideas for transportation. Especially if you're considering having to do more of an egress, and you need another option maybe besides your vehicle if you have one. And so here I have a few options. Obviously, we talked about a boat earlier. Boats are okay. Sometimes though, you may not live next to a body of water, and in those cases though, you may want to consider something as interesting as maybe a smaller, more mobile, flexible, very much like a smaller profile vehicle. And that's something that has a little bit of speed to it though. And so I've come up with a few options here. So we got the motorcycle, the moped, scooters. We could do like an ATV, the 3 and 4-wheeled. 4-wheeled would probably be a little bit better, probably have a little bit more stability. You also have those 6-wheel types of deals. They call them Gators. There's different variations and models and brands, but that's kind of one of the name brands. Those are really cool, like a utility off-road vehicle. I used to have a job that I had to drive one for a few years, and I got to know it pretty well. Mine had a heater in it, and it was actually pretty cool. So pretty durable. The one I had like a dump truck bed on the back, and it's a very small, little vehicle, but it was actually pretty usable, and you could load that down with supplies and get out of the city. The next option would be something we don't really think about as much, but bicycles. Having the old manual bicycle, it's not going to be super fast, but it's such a small profile. And having an extra chain, like a bike chain, and a couple extra inner tubes, and the know-how and a few tools to change tires out if you ever had a flat would be a really good option. So at the very bare minimum, have a bicycle. And then of course at the extreme option would be if you had to go on foot and walk out of your city, which is probably the least desirable, just because you're the most vulnerable, because you're not able to be that as fast as other people possibly, to move about and to get away from threats. So and you also probably have the least amount of gear that you can carry. So in that case, you have some really good boots, or maybe even hiking boots, more so than like a tactical boot. Just because if they're broken in a little bit and they still have a lot of life left, they're probably going to give you the most support overall, and also be some of the lighter options besides a heavy tactical military boot, or even tennis shoes these days can be very heavy. So you don't want the ultralight tennis shoes because there's no support and they may break down a lot faster. But a good quality mid-weight, maybe like a quarter height ankle, type of boot is going to be a good option. So I just wanted to point these things out, and I'm going to get back to my house. I'm just kind of walking around real quick, just checking things out and enjoying this headlamp. So I just thought, that there's definitely a lot of options out there to help you move about if you had an egress. And so even if you only had one or two of those options and you kept them in good repair, it probably would give you a lot more peace of mind. In fact, some of those options, like a bicycle or certain styling like mopeds and scooters, could actually be loaded or tethered to your vehicle. So if you ever got into a really bad car type of traffic jam, or the roadways were completely non-moving, or they're just congested like you wouldn't believe, you could always just say, okay, we're not moving. We've been here for hours and we haven't moved an inch, and it looks like there's actually it's not going to be passable. So what you could do is, besides going on foot, you could break out your bikes or mopeds or scooters and start moving out and getting away from the larger population centers where there could be more threats. So as always, be safe, and I'll catch you on the flip side. If you have any requests for videos, I am now taking requests for videos. Just let me know in the comment section what kind of videos you want. And if you get at least 1 or 2 comments on your comment, I'll definitely make that video. So just let me know what you want. I don't want to open this up for every video and all the time, because I'll be flooded with different options from different people, and I like, you know, your request and everything. I just want to make sure I remain control on my content. But so just let me know the things that you're interested in, and we'll definitely try to make at least a handful of videos in the next week or two that are based off of your input. And as always, be safe.